For Richer or Poorer is a 1997 comedy film starring Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley. Plot: after 10 years of marriage, New York millionaire socialite couple Brad and Caroline Sexton are miserable and have decided to call it quits. Their marital problems come to a head earlier that evening when Brad turns their 10th anniversary party into a real estate development pitch for a theme park he calls the Holy Land, modeled after biblical law. The pitch turns disastrous when one of the display's special effects catches a guest's dress on fire. At the same time, Brad's accountant, Bob Lackman, is up to his own tricks, making the Sextons' millions disappear into his own pocket, mostly through mismanagement and filing false tax returns. His money manipulation has caught the attention of the Internal Revenue Service, and field agent Frank Hall demands to meet Bob and Brad the following morning to bring the obligations up to date, to the tune of $5 million. Bob arrives at the office early the following morning with a file box and an agenda, leave before Brad arrives. Though he doesn't get out in time, he manages to finally evade Brad, and Hall, who has just shown up. Hearing a hint from Bob that the Sextons could be fleeing, Hall orders the freezing of all their assets. Brad is unable to access his money through an ATM, and Caroline has her credit card destroyed at her table as she's having lunch with some friends. Brad is then informed that his accounts have been frozen, but the bank teller refuses to tell him why. He then gets Bob on the phone, who tells him that he himself is the cause of their newfound problems as he's headed for the airport. IRS Inspector Derek Lester loves his job and joins Hall to serve the warrant and bring in the Sextons. As Brad exits the bank, Hall and Lester surround him at a bull statue on Wall Street. Brad takes out his new satellite phone to answer a call, but the trigger-happy Lester mistakes it for a gun and pulls out his own pistol, shooting it out of Brad's hand, much to Hall's chagrin. Brad flees on foot, steals a cab and happens to pick up Caroline. The Sextons get away from Hall and Lester and the NYPD and leave New York. They crash the cab and find themselves in Intercourse, Pennsylvania, a small Lancaster County area community of Old Order Amish. Samuel and Lavinia, along with their sons and daughters, make the pair at home. The pair try to fit in, and while Brad manages to adjust well, the prima donna Caroline, deprived of cigarettes and creature comforts, throws various childlike tantrums when she and Brad are alone. This gets noticed by Lavinia and Samuel, who chalk it up to the pair having marital difficulties. Brad decides to try and relate better to Caroline after a talk from Samuel how each day, no matter how bleak, is a gift of life through God. Gradually, both learn to fit in through their own abilities. Brad, with his knowledge of real estate values, helps Samuel's future son-in-law Henna buy a plot of land, and Caroline's knowledge of fashion helps their conservative Ordnung relax their colorless dress code. The Sextons then rediscover why they fell in love in the first place, largely through their efforts of helping others rather than themselves. As Samuel and Lavinia's daughter Rebecca is exchanging vows with Henna, the ceremony is interrupted by police and a drenched Hall and Lester, who crash into the stolen cab. The Sextons are exposed and hauled back to New York to face trial. Brad's attorney Phil Kleinman informs them that he found Bob in Zurich and had him extradited back to America. A resisting Bob is then hauled into the courtroom by uniformed officers to face the Sextons. Bob confesses and Brad thanks the accountant for, in a way, saving his and Caroline's marriage. Forgiveness is another story as Brad punches Bob. Charges against the Sextons are dropped. Brad and Caroline return to the Yodas to make things right, but their pleas for forgiveness seem to fall on deaf ears. As they're turning to leave, Samuel informs them that he and Lavinia knew the whole time of the ruse. They said they put up with it because it was planting season, and they needed the extra help. Brad offers to give his watch as a present, only to be told that their Amish cannot accept gifts-only trades. He then proceeds to trade the watch for Big John, a gargantuan Belgian horse that Brad tamed largely by dumb luck, and some corn. Brad also tells Sam not to open the back of the watch. The watch seems to have in it a risque picture, which amuses him. The movie ends with Brad and Caroline driving a 1954 Ford pickup with a horse trailer hauling Big John. It's then revealed that the Sextons traded their 1997 Jaguar for the truck. In the closing credits, Brad contemplates buying the pond where they crashed the cab, and Caroline reveals she is pregnant with the couple's first child. Cast: Tim Allen, Brad Sexton, Kirstie Alley, Caroline Sexton, J.O. Sanders, Samuel Yoder, Michael Lerner, Phil Kleinman, Wayne Knight, Bob Lackman, Larry Miller, IRS Inspector Derek Lester, Miguel A. Nunez, IRS Field Agent Frank Hall, Megan Kavanagh, Lavinia Yoder, John Piper Ferguson, Henna Lapp, Carrie Preston, Rebecca Yoder, Ethan Phillips, Jerry, Bobby Steggart, Samuel Yoder Jr., Michael Angarano, Sammy Yoder, Marla Maples, Cynthia, Anthony Azizi, Malik Ali Farquhar. Reception for Richer or Poorer was a box office disappointment, earning $32.7 million on an estimated budget of $35 million. Reviews of the film were mainly negative. It currently holds a 15% approval rating at Rotten Tomatoes based on 20 reviews. Roger Ebert gave the film 2 out of 4 stars. Regarding the film and Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley's performances, he stated, "I admired their sheer professionalism. The plot is a yawnner.